We should live with hope, with plans for the future, with dreams of tomorrow, and indeed, that is how most of us have been conditioned to think. But I invite you to step back with me to view this concept from a different angle, to see the grand tapestry of life from a new vantage point. Consider for a moment what it truly means to have no time left. What does that look like? Is it a countdown clock ticking away our final moments? Is it a looming deadline that cannot be extended? Or is it something else entirely? Entirely. You see, when we say act as if you have no time left, we're not talking about living in fear or despair. We're talking about a state of being, a way of moving through the world, a perspective that can transform your entire experience of life. Think about it. What would it feel like to live as if each moment were your last? Would you be constantly anxious, frantically trying to cram in every experience? Or would you be fully present, savoring each breath, each sensation, each interaction as if it were the most precious thing in the universe? This is the paradox we're exploring today. By acting as if we have no time left, we open ourselves to the possibility of truly living for the first time. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Alan, isn't this just a recipe for recklessness, for abandoning all responsibility and living only for immediate pleasure? And these are valid questions. But let's dig a little deeper. What if the act of living as if we have no time left actually brings us into a more profound relationship with time itself? What if, by embracing the finite nature of our existence, we actually expand our experience of the infinite present moment? You see, the human mind is a curious thing. It's constantly projecting into the future, rehashing the past, creating elaborate narratives about what might be or what could have been. And in this process, it often overlooks the incredible richness of the present moment, the only time we ever truly have. When we act as if we have no time left, we're not denying the reality of past and future. We're shifting our perception to fully inhabit the eternal now. We're choosing to focus on what is rather than what was or what might be. To think of it like this. Imagine you're at a magnificent feast. If you're constantly thinking about what dishes might come next or regretting what you didn't eat earlier, you might miss the exquisite flavors of the food that's right in front of you. But if you approach each bite as if it were your last, you open yourself to appreciate and enjoy what's actually there in a way you never had before. This is the power of acting as if you have no time left. It's not about denying the future or suppressing your memories. It's about changing your relationship with the present moment, with what already is. Because here's the truth, in any given moment, this moment is all you have. This breath, this heartbeat, this awareness. You have the incredible miracle of existence itself, right here, right now. And when you truly realize this, when you act from this place of immediacy rather than postponement, everything changes. But why is this so hard for us? Why do we struggle to act as if we have no time left when our natural inclination seems to be to always plan for the future, to always put things off until tomorrow? It's because we've been conditioned to believe in the illusion of endless time. From a young age, we're taught to delay gratification, to work towards future rewards, to always be preparing for what's next. We're taught that life is a long journey and that we have all the time in the world to get around to really living. But what if this belief in endless time is just that, a belief? What if the only reality is this present moment and our perception of past and future is simply a trick of the mind? Consider the natural world. Does a tree worry about next year's leaves? Does a river fret about where it will flow tomorrow? Does a bird stress about its migration route months in advance? No. Nature exists in a perpetual now, each part playing its role without anxiety about the future or regret about the past. When we act as if we have no time left, we're aligning ourselves with this natural immediacy. We're choosing to see the vibrancy of the present rather than the imagined possibilities of the future or the fading echoes of the past. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Alan, doesn't this attitude lead to irresponsibility? If we act as if we have no time left, won't we neglect important long-term considerations? And this is a beautiful question, because it gets to the heart of a common misunderstanding about living in the present and planning for the future. You see, acting as if you have no time left doesn't mean you stop considering the consequences of your actions or planning for the future. It means you do so from a place of present moment awareness rather than future anxiety. It means your actions are driven by a deep appreciation for the preciousness of now, rather than by fear of what might happen later. Think about a master chess player. When they make a move, are they doing so because they're anxious about the end of the game? Or are they fully present with the board as it is, making the best move possible in this moment, which naturally sets up favorable possibilities for the future? This is the difference between acting from future anxiety and acting from present awareness. When we act as if we have no time left, we're not denying the future or neglecting our responsibilities. We're transforming the energy behind our actions. Instead of acting to secure some imagined future state, we're expressing the fullness of who we are right now. Instead of working to achieve some later goal, we're allowing our present moment, wisdom and kwisdivi, to flow out into the world. And here's the beautiful paradox. When we act from this place of present moment fullness, we often make better decisions, create more meaningful work, and ironically, that set ourselves up for a better future than we ever did when we were driven by anxiety about what's to come. Because when we act as if we have no time left, we release the paralysis of overthinking, the burden of what-ifs, the fear of failure that often holds us back. We become free to act decisively, to express ourselves fully, to make bold choices without being crippled by worry about the outcome. Think about it. How many times have you put off doing something you love because you thought you'd have time for it later? How many times have you held back from expressing your true feelings because you thought there would be a better moment in the future? But when you act as if you have no time left, these hesitations lose their power. Because if this moment is all you have, why wouldn't you use it to do what truly matters to you? If this is your last chance to speak your truth, why would you hold back? This is the liberation that comes from acting as if you have no time left. It's not about becoming reckless or short-sighted. It's about changing your relationship with time itself, with yourself, with the very process of living. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Alan, this all sounds nice in theory, but how do we actually put it into practice? How do we act as if we have no time left when our everyday lives seem to demand long-term planning and delayed gratification? And this, my friends, is where the real work begins. Because acting as if you have no time left isn't just a matter of spontaneity or living for the moment. It's a fundamental shift in how you perceive and interact with the flow of time itself. It begins with awareness. Start by noticing how much of your mental energy is spent in the imagined future or the remembered past. Notice how often you put off fully experiencing this moment because you're planning for or worrying about the next one. Notice how frequently you say to yourself, I'll do that later, or there's always tomorrow. Next, practice presence, not just as a mental exercise, but as a deeply felt experience of the now. When you eat, savor each bite as if it were your last meal. When you talk with someone, listen as if you'll never hear another human voice again. When you work, engage with your task as if it's the last thing you'll ever create. Then bring this awareness and presence into your decision-making. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, if this were the last decision I ever made, what would I choose when considering whether to express yourself? Ask, if this were my last chance to speak my truth, what would I say? And here's the key. Do all of this not because you're trying to squeeze everything into some imagined final moments, but because you're choosing to recognize the truth that this moment right now is the only moment you ever truly have. Because here's the deeper truth. The future is always an abstraction, a mental projection. The past is always a memory, a mental reconstruction. The only thing that's ever real, ever live, ever actual is this present moment. And in this sense, you always have no time left because all you ever have is now. When you truly realize this, when you embody this truth in your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you naturally act as if you have no time left, because you recognize that, in the deepest sense, you don't. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Alan, doesn't this perspective make life seem terribly brief and fleeting? Isn't it depressing to always be aware of the limited nature of our time? And this is a crucial point. Because acting as if you have no time left isn't about living under a cloud of impending doom. On the contrary, it's about waking up to the incredible preciousness of each moment, the miracle of being alive at all. When you act from the perspective of endless time, it's easy to take things for granted, to postpone joy, to numb yourself to the wonder of existence. But when you act as if you have no time left, every moment becomes infinitely precious. Every experience, no matter how mundane, becomes a gift. Think about it. If you knew this was the last time you'd ever see a sunset, wouldn't you pay more attention to the play of colors in the sky? If you knew this was the last conversation you'd ever have with a loved one, wouldn't you listen more deeply, speak more honestly, love more openly? By acting as if you have no time left, you become more alive, more awake, more present than ever before. You start to see the extraordinary in the ordinary, the sacred in the mundane. You begin to appreciate the incredible richness of each moment, each breath, each heartbeat. But this brings us to another important point. Acting as if you have no time left doesn't mean frantically trying to cram in as many experiences as possible. It's not about creating some kind of bucket list and racing to check off items before some imagined deadline. It's about deepening into the experience you're having right now, whatever that might be. It's about recognizing that this moment, exactly as it is enough. It's about realizing that you don't need to wait for some future event to start truly living. Think of it like this. A person who thinks they have all the time in the world might rush through a meal, barely tasting the food as they think about what they'll do after dinner. But someone who acts as if they have no time left might spend an hour savoring a single apple, fully experiencing its taste, texture, and aroma as if it were the most precious thing in the world. In the same way, when you act as if you have no time left, you don't necessarily change what you do. You change how you do it. You bring a quality of presence, of appreciation, of full engagement to everything you do, whether it's washing dishes, having a conversation, or pursuing your life's passion. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Alan, isn't this just another form of pressure? Aren't we just replacing the stress of future planning with the stress of making every moment count? And this is a beautiful question, because it gets to the heart of a common misunderstanding about presence and mindfulness. You see, acting as if you have no time left isn't about putting pressure on yourself to make every moment extraordinary. It's about recognizing that every moment already is extraordinary, simply because it exists. When you truly act as if you have no time left, you naturally become more relaxed, more accepting, more at peace with what is, because you realize that this moment exactly as it is all there is. There's no need to make it different, to make it better, to make it more special. It's already as special as it could possibly be, simply because it's the only moment that exists. I think about the ocean. It doesn't try to make its waves bigger or its water bluer. It simply is what it is, in each moment, and in that being, it's magnificent. That's what it means to act as if you have no time left. It means to be fully yourself, to express your nature completely, to live authentically, not because you're trying to achieve something or get somewhere, but simply because that's who you are in this moment. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you act from this place of presence, the more you may find that time seems to expand. Not in the sense of having more minutes or hours, but in the sense of each moment becoming richer, fuller, more alive. When you act as if you have no time left, you stop rushing through moments to get to some imagined better future. You stop killing time because you recognize how precious each moment is. You become open to the depth and richness of now, which is infinitely vast. I think of it like diving into the ocean. On the surface, you might see only waves and blue water, but as you dive deeper, you discover an entire world of incredible complexity and beauty. In the same way, when you act as if you have no time left, you dive deep into the present moment, discovering depths of experience you never knew existed. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Alan, what about when life gets really tough? What about when we face pain, hardship, or tragedy? How can we act as if we have no time left then? And this, my friends, is where the rubber meets the road. This is where this philosophy is truly put to the test. Because acting as if you have no time left doesn't mean pretending that everything is always pleasant or that you never experience pain. It means being fully present with whatever is arising in this moment, whether it's joy or sorrow, pleasure or pain. Think about it. Even in your deepest sorrow, you have the capacity to be fully present with that sorrow. Even in your greatest struggle, you have the ability to be completely engaged with that struggle. Even in your most profound loss, you have the opportunity to fully experience the depth of your love and grief. When you act as if you have no time left, you approach even the most challenging situations with a quality of presence and engagement. You face difficulties not as obstacles to be overcome on the way to some better future, but as experiences to be fully lived in this moment. And here's the incredible thing. When you approach life's challenges from this place of present moment engagement, you often find strengths and resources within yourself that you never knew you had. You discover a resilience, a creativity, a capacity for growth that can transform even the most difficult experiences into opportunities for deepening your understanding and expanding your heart. But let me be clear, this isn't about denying pain or suppressing grief. It's not about trying to make negative experiences positive. It's about embracing the fullness of your experience, recognizing that even pain and loss are part of the incredible richness of being alive. When you act as if you have no time left, you give yourself permission to feel everything, to experience life in all its intensity and complexity. You don't need to rush through difficult emotions or experiences because you know that they too are part of the precious tapestry of your life. I think of it like this. A great piece of music isn't made up only of happy, upbeat notes. It includes dissonance, tension, moments of sadness or suspense. And it's this full range of tones and emotions that makes the music rich and meaningful. In the same way, when you act as if you have no time left, you embrace the full symphony of your life, with all its high notes and low notes, its crescendos and its quiet passages. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But Alan, isn't this just a form of fatalism? Aren't we just accepting whatever happens without trying to improve our situation? And this is a crucial point. Because acting as if you have no time left isn't about passive acceptance or resignation. It's about engaging with reality more fully, more honestly, more courageously than ever before. When you're always living for some imagined future, you're constantly trying to escape your current reality, always chasing after some time when things will finally be better. But when you act as if you have no time left, you're free to engage fully with this moment, to bring all your resources to bear on whatever situation you're facing right now. Think about it. How much of your life do you spend wishing things were different, hoping for a better future, or trying to recreate an idealized past? How often do you miss the opportunities of the present moment because you're so focused on where you want to get to? When you act as if you have no time left, you free yourself from this constant dissatisfaction with what is. You become able to see clearly what's actually happening right now, to respond creatively to the real conditions of your life, to bring your whole self to everything you do. And here's the beautiful irony. When you stop trying to escape your current reality, when you fully embrace where you are and who you are right now, you often find that your life begins to change in amazing ways. Because when you act as if you have no time left, you stop operating from a place of fear and avoidance. You become more honest, more authentic, more willing to take risks and express your truth. You start making choices based on what truly matters to you right now, rather than what you think might make you happy in some imagined future. And in doing so, you often create more meaningful change in your life than you ever did when you were constantly striving for a better tomorrow. But here's the key. The goal isn't to act as if you have no time left in order to improve your future. The goal is to recognize that this moment right now is your life. And it's the only moment you ever have to live, to love, to create, to be who you truly are. Because here's the deeper truth. The future is always a mental construct, an imagination. The past is always a memory, a story we tell ourselves. The only thing that's ever real, ever alive, ever actual is this present moment. And in this sense, you always have no time left because all you ever have is now. When you truly realize this, when you embody this truth in your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you naturally act as if you have no time left because you recognize that in the deepest sense you don't. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Alan, how do we maintain this perspective in a world that's constantly pulling us into thoughts of the future or memories of the past? How do we stay present when there's so much planning and preparation that seems necessary in our lives? And this, my friends, is where the real work begins. Because acting as if you have no time left isn't a one-time decision. It's a moment-by-moment choice, a constant practice of returning to the vivid aliveness of now. It's about catching yourself when you fall into patterns of future projection or past rumination and gently, compassionately bringing yourself back to the present moment. It's about noticing when you're postponing life, putting off joy or authenticity for some imagined better time, and choosing instead to live fully right now. Think of it like meditation. When you meditate, your mind will inevitably wander. The practice isn't about never having thoughts, but about noticing when you've been caught up in thinking and gently returning your attention to the present moment. In the same way, the practice of acting as if you have no time left isn't about never thinking about the future or remembering the past. It's about noticing when you've been caught up in these mental projections and gently returning to the vivid reality of now. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. The more you choose to act from present moment awareness rather than future anxiety or past regret, the more you'll find that presence becomes your default state. But this doesn't mean your life will always be easy or that you'll never face challenges. It means you'll approach those challenges from a place of present moment engagement rather than future fear. It means you'll face life's ups and downs with a quality of aliveness, knowing that this moment, whatever it contains, is your life. And as you do this, you'll likely find that your entire relationship with time begins to change. You'll start to see the eternal in the temporal, the infinite in the finite. You'll begin to appreciate the incredible richness of each moment, each experience, each interaction. You'll find yourself becoming more spontaneous, more authentic, more willing to express your truth and live your values right now. Because when you act as if you have no time left, you naturally want to make each moment count. You naturally want to live, to love, to create as fully as you can right now. And in doing so, you become a source of aliveness for others. You become a living example of what's possible when we choose to be fully present rather than always postponing life. You become a light in the world, illuminating the path for others to recognize the preciousness of their own fleeting, beautiful existence. So, my dear friends, I invite you to try this. I invite you to act as if you have no time left, not as a morbid exercise or a pressure-filled technique, but as a way of waking up to the incredible miracle of your existence right now. Start small. In this moment right now, can you act as if you have no time left? Can you breathe as if this is your last breath? Can you listen as if these are the last words you'll ever hear? Can you feel as if this is your last chance to experience whatever you're experiencing right now? And then carry this into your day. As you interact with others, can you act as if this is your last chance to express love, to speak your truth, to really see and hear another human being. As you work, can you act as if this is your final opportunity to express your gifts, to create something meaningful, to contribute to the world? As you face challenges, can you act as if this is your only chance to practice patience, to show courage, to grow and learn from this experience? Remember, this isn't about putting pressure on yourself to make every moment extraordinary. It's about recognizing that every moment already is extraordinary simply because it exists, simply because you are here to experience it. You are not separate from the flow of time. You are not lacking or incomplete. You are a unique expression of the universe becoming aware of itself in this moment. And when you act from this truth, everything changes. So go forth, my friends. Act as if you have no time left. Live from the depths of this present moment. Share your aliveness with the world, and watch as the world responds, reflecting back to you the boundless richness that is always, always already here. Thank you, my dear friends. May you always remember the preciousness of this moment, and may you have the courage to live as if this moment is all there is, because in the deepest sense it is. And so, as we come to the close of our time together, let us not think of it as an ending, but as a beginning of a new way of being in the world, a new way of experiencing the incredible gift of existence. For you see, when you truly act as if you have no time left, every moment becomes a new beginning. Every breath is a fresh start, every heartbeat a new opportunity to live fully, to love deeply, to be who you truly are. As you leave this space and return to your daily lives, I invite you to carry this perspective with you, not as a burden or a pressure, but as a key that unlocks the infinite potential of each moment. When you wake up tomorrow morning, can you greet the day as if it's your first and last? When you encounter your loved ones, can you see them with fresh eyes as if it's your first time meeting and your last chance to express your love? When you engage in your work, can you approach it with the enthusiasm of a beginner and the mastery of one who knows this is their final opus? Remember, acting as if you have no time left isn't about cramming more activities into your day or constantly doing something important. It's about bringing a quality of presence, of aliveness, of full engagement to whatever you're doing, whether that's sipping a cup of tea, having a conversation, or changing the world. It's about recognizing that this moment, exactly as it is, with all its imperfections and challenges, is your life. Not some imagined future moment when everything is perfect. Not some remembered past that you're trying to recreate or avoid. This, right here, right now. And in that recognition, in that deep acceptance of what is, you may find a profound peace, a vibrant aliveness, a clarity of purpose that no amount of future planning or past reminiscing can provide. So go forth, my friends, into the great adventure of your lives. Act as if you have no time left, not out of fear or desperation, but out of a profound appreciation for the incredible gift of this moment. Live fully, love deeply, create boldly, knowing that this moment is all you ever have, and it's more than enough. Thank you for your presence, your attention, your willingness to explore these deep waters of human experience. May your journey be rich, may your moments be full, and may you always remember the incredible miracle of your existence, right here, right now. And so we come to the end of our time together, but remember, in the eternal now, there is no end, only continuous beginning. Every moment is a new opportunity to wake up, to be alive, to act as if you have no time left, because in the deepest sense you don't. You only have now, and now, and now. Thank you, and may you live each moment as if it were your last and your first.